Hey guys, so here bringing you another video. Now welcome back to a Q&A. So I think this is the second Q&A of 2020. We did one right at the beginning of the month. We're a few weeks into the season. I thought it was a good time to do them. It's a bit of a chill content. I like doing them anyway. And yeah, people might have questions now that we're a few weeks into season 10. Obviously, though, that we do a range of questions. We do league questions, video games, YouTube stuff, personal stuff that I don't mind answering. So abundance of stuff. So we'll just quickly start with some ones that I know have been asked in the comment section recently and not necessarily like I've collected. The first one, an obvious one, is what's going on with these. So I have mentioned here or there about why am I wearing little buds. A full explanation is basically I get a lot of headaches. Too many, honestly, too many headaches, and I'm kind of, as many of people are aware, trying to self-improve, and I'm trying to fix problems, hence why I've lost some weight, and I'm trying to fix issues that I shouldn't ignore. So I was kind of really thinking, why do I get these headaches? And I always kind of think, when I wake up, I don't have a headache. When do they start? And I was always like, it's during my recording sessions, or it's during when I'm on the PC, where I was like, is it my eyes that am I getting a headache from being on a screen too much? I was like, don't think so. Then I kind of came to the realization it starts about here. And that's where I had dental surgery a year ago of getting all my wisdom teeth removed. And I think basically what's happened, and I've been to the dentist since complaining about dental, this ache, which then turns into a headache nearly every day. Basically, I think what's happened is when I wear these big headsets, it basically crushes the area that I had removed, the teeth that I had removed. And they've never fully healed properly because of the constant pressure of wearing a headset, over 15 hours a day. So just for a month or two, hell, I might even continue doing it forever. I don't know. I'm just going to wear buds. Maybe I'll go to like an on-ear headphone instead of like an over-ear, because over-ear, it literally goes right here, which is where the pain kind of starts. On-ear would, I guess, avoid that area. But for now, this is what I'm doing. And I honestly, it's a lot better. Sound quality, I don't even notice any difference. These ones are slightly different to the ones that I've been actually wearing. I just upgraded today. They arrived. So I was wearing the Generation 1 AirPods. These are the Gen 2 Pro ones because these have got noise cancelling in them. And I prefer noise cancelling when I'm gaming so I can't hear the outside world too much. And I already can tell I prefer these a lot. So yeah, and they're comfortable, they're easy. And, yes, battery life is a bit of a concern. We were streaming yesterday and they started beeping at me going, we're out of battery in a minute. Well, again, whether you like Apple or not, that's up to you. But you put these in the case within 5-10 minutes, they're up to over 50% charge easily. And it's like, well, that's another few hours. So it's perfect. It doesn't really bother you, even if it gets to low battery, because within 5-10 minutes, go on an ad break and I've got at least another hour worth of juice. So it works pretty well. Another one that we had recently, and that was actually a pretty good question, is why do I stream on Twitch and not YouTube? Obviously, again, the person was like, your main audience, your biggest audience is on YouTube, so in theory, shouldn't the stream be more successful on YouTube? I can definitely see the thought process there, and whatever answer you're going to get from a creator, it depends what their perspective on it. A great example, I watch a content creator called Super GT. He does Gran Turismo content. It's actually the main game that I play when I'm not making content is Gran Turismo on PS4. If you didn't know that, now you do. So I watch him quite a bit, and he streams on YouTube, and people ask him, why doesn't he stream on Twitch? And his answer is that his audience is on YouTube, so he'll, that's the kind of point. Basically, though, it comes down to job security as a content creator. We don't have a guarantee on how much we're making, and money is a bit of an iffy subject always as a content creator, but job security should never be an iffy subject to talk about. For me, I like the idea that I'm not completely reliant on one corporation, that if I streamed and did all my videos just on YouTube, or Google, who owns YouTube, or Alphabet technically, and something happened to Google or YouTube, then my whole kind of business of streaming and doing content videos gets affected. Well, if something happens to Google right now, I've still got Twitch. They're separate. That's the thought process in my mind. So, and whenever I've seen, by the way, someone who is streaming on YouTube like Super GT, he'll be like, okay, yeah, there's no point. He has a Patreon. So he does spread his load a bit because he's got Patreon and YouTube. I think it's always a good idea to spread your load in two ways. I have a Patreon. I used it a few years ago. I don't need to use it now. So we don't do anything on there. So my separation is Twitch and YouTube. I think it's just a smart thing to do. Secondly, I will say, I don't think YouTube's very good for streaming. The vast majority of you, if you look at what you're doing here on YouTube, can guarantee most of you are here to watch video content. You're not here to watch live streams. The communities are different. You go on Twitch and the communities are built around live streaming. The communities on YouTube are built around videos, not live streaming. It's different slightly, but it is different. So that's the answer. That's why. So sure, maybe would I get more views? Maybe, but I'm completely happy with how my stream's going. We're averaging like 500 viewers a stream now. Twitch subscribers are around 1,000. And to me, Twitch has always been like the secondary thing to my YouTube content. It is catching up. It's not caught up yet, but it's been more than good. And I'm really happy with that. And with the separation, as again, I've mentioned it here or there, I am planning to move out soon. I've got potentially some house viewings in the next week or two. The good thing right now of how I've built my content and being on two platforms, let's say Twitch dies and I've just got YouTube. Well, with my income and when I look to have rent and I've already kind of worked out how much it's going to be a month, well, YouTube right now would cover everything. It's okay. Same actually goes for if YouTube dies and I've just got Twitch, it will be a bit tighter, obviously, but it will be okay. So that's why I like the separation. It's just a bit of a security net for me, just in case something happens. Because remember, people go, oh, that'll never happen. YouTube has had what we've called the adpocalypse, that a massive content creator has said something inappropriate. People reacted, obviously, it's a bad thing that they've done, but then advertisers start pulling out of YouTube, so all that's left is the really cheap adverts, and our income goes really down. So trust me, that affects you quite a bit. So I think it's a good idea to spread the load. And then another one that I had, and then we'll get into pre-prepared questions that people have left, is with all the weight loss and stuff, I've mentioned that I do stuff at home and I go to an actual gym. Why both? Why do I go to a gym or why do I have stuff at home? The easy answer to that is just time. Believe it or not, I am quite a busy person. And whenever I'm finished a recording session, it's sometimes just not practical to go to the gym because I might be finished at 5 p.m. Okay, I've finished what I need to do today. It's 5 p.m. Am I really going to go into my gym? I picked one in the middle of the city so I can get out of the house and stuff. Am I really going to go into the city centre at 5 p.m. when it's works traffic? No, so I'll go into the garage and work out at home. It's just a bit more practical. When I move out and I have better recording times, because obviously there won't be people in the house that needs to sleep, so I can record longer and it will free up me basically earlier in the day, then I will be able to go to the actual gym all the time. So, because right now I'm averaging going to the actual gym 1, maybe 2 times a week, but I'm exercising 4-ish. So yeah, and again, quick health update, I guess. Down around 45 pounds. Right now, it kind of seems that I've got to the weight that my body has naturally now gone back to, and it's becoming a lot harder now to lose weight. It doesn't want to budge like it was before. And but I've lost 45 pounds. I currently weigh 12 stone 4 to 5, depending, I guess how much I ate the day before, which if you're, again, the majority of you watching are American, so I'll do the calculation for you guys. 12 more plus 4, so I weigh about 171 pounds now. And again, to put perspective on it, a couple months ago I was I was 214 pounds ish, 215 pounds September, and I now am about 170. So yeah, what's that? About 45 pounds in that kind of range. So yeah, it's been, trust me, and people may say, has it been easy? No, it's been hard. There are ups and downs, but it's the small things that add up. Is like a few months ago when I went from an XL shirt to a large shirt, that was a cool feeling. I'm now a medium. So it's now I've gone from a large to then a medium. It's like those little things that make you realize, oh snap, like things are working here. And it does help out quite a bit when you hit one of those kind of milestones. Or you just hit a big thing for me was getting under 200 pounds when I was 215-ish. I'm under 200 pounds. Oh my God. Then I'm under 190. Oh my God. I'm under 180. And obviously the next goal now is to be under 170. And again, I don't have much weight more to lose at all. It's more about turning the physique. It's like my weight will probably stay the same, but the fat percentage will probably shift. My trainer says my chest will get bigger, my waist will get smaller, and my body will just change size, but the weight might not move a lot. So yeah, pretty cool. But there we go. That's why. And again, a big thing for me is leaving the house. I think I briefly touched upon that, but as somebody that is indoors at home, I work from home, obviously, it's nice to leave the house. So apart from going on like food shopping, or if I'm out with friends every now and then, the only time that I really am leaving the house is going to the gym. So it's good to leave the house, obviously. All right, so here we go. Right, so let's now get into questions. We're gonna go with the YouTube community tab, I think, for most of them, because why not? I also will mention, if you've made it this far, a little reward for you guys. We will be giving away a Silas code for 1 North America, 1 for Europe in this video. All you gotta do is be subscribed, like the video, and comment down below. Let me know how Season 10 is going for you so far. Make sure you do put your summoner name and your server down there. So obviously I need to add you, because it's apparently, by the way, worth noting, a lot of people, I'd say 40% of people that have won codes from me in the past never get back to me. That I try to add them, I try to DM them on Twitter, they don't get back to you. So then I have to redraw a winner. Make sure you check this type of thing. It is worth knowing. First question, though, is how to build a champion pool and stick with it. Is it okay to play tons of champions? However, I do bad and always get stuck in silver or even bronze. How do I not get bored of a champ? So you're asking a person that basically I'm you, but just higher rating. Basically, it depends how long you've played League, I think. Like, trust me, I've had people be angry at me going, how do you play so many champions in Diamond? Or I do a Smurf series, get Diamond pretty easily, but I play millions of champions. People actually have gotten angry at me doing that because they've been taught, oh, you've got to main one thing, or you've got to one-trick one thing, oh, that's the only way, which obviously I've always shown that's not true. Why I can do it isn't because I'm an amazing player, is because I've got a lot of time in League. So I've played this game since Season 1, and I've never stuck to champions. I've always moved around. So my general skill, I could be maybe better as a player, obviously, if I stuck to a very, very tight champion pool, but I find that boring. So I've always diversified, so I've got a general high-level skill in the game. But that has taken a long time. That's worth noting. So if you're new to the game, you've played it for a year or two, which I would still consider new, yeah, don't expect to be like great. And you also, again, I'm not an amazing player by any means, but you also have to remember there is a natural skill cap to every player. Let's say my natural skill cap is high diamond. Your natural skill cap could be silver. We could just be different. So just do what you want. Again, you have to remember, League is a video game, so if you're having fun doing what you're doing, playing a lot of champions, then that's cool. But if you're also frustrated with being stuck in silver or bronze, maybe, again, it's kind of like my diet thing with losing weight. Suck it up, main stuff for a couple months, get yourself to the rating you want, then diversify. You could always do that. You know, as I was comparing it to the diet, I was like, I've been overweight for like 6-7 years. I'm going to suck it up for 6 months, go on a crazy diet for 6 months, lose the weight that I need to, and then in 6 months I fixed it. I'm 5 months into it and I've practically lost all the weight. It's a time thing, right? So just do that with solo queue. But there we go. Does using Q on Riven while running to the lane get you there faster? I believe it does. I'm not a Riven player, but yeah, I'd imagine it does. There are a lot of abilities in League that does that for you. You don't have to do them, obviously. If you're completely min-maxing, then sure. But I've also taught people that, like, people get annoyed at me in my commentaries or on stream if I'm not completely min-maxing everything. And min-maxing, by the way, is literally you're trying to do everything perfectly. Screw that. Like, hell no. Like, I don't care. Like, when I was in Master last season, was I min-maxing? Was I trying to play perfectly? No. Because playing perfectly is unrealistic. I don't like setting unrealistic goals. I'm very content with just playing kind of, I'm playing all right now. That's fine. Like, whatever. So you don't have to do it, but sure, if you want to, go for it. Next up is, with Legends of Runeterra now out, what region would I like to see next? Bilgewater. Pirate deck, please. I've already expressed to Riot quite a bit that I want a pirate deck. Again, if you guys don't know, if you didn't watch the initial video, I do work with Riot a fair amount in the background. I've had meetings here or there about stuff, and yeah, like I have spoken about what I'd like in the game, what would I want to be different. I have also expressed that I'm not a massive fan of the rank system, that it does, I think you can't go down in rank once you've achieved a certain rank. Like if you've achieved gold, you cannot go under gold ever. I'm not a massive fan of that because, I think, it should be like a proper rank system that you go up and down, but that's just me. But yeah, definitely build your with a pirate deck. Like, you can think about that, like have Gangplank in the game, and his kind of champion level up thing would be something to do that he gets like a 1/1 barrel card that explodes if the barrel in the attack phase doesn't get killed, it explodes and does AoE damage or something. Like that could be really easy, like, of how you would design that, and I think it would be pretty cool. So yeah, so build your water. Next up is, hey Huzzy, I was always wondering, how do you keep yourself from tilting and flaming others who feed like crazy or troll? Beside being a nice guy and your work, I struggle with holding myself, especially that you're low, you just want to get out of bronze to silver. People aren't going to like my answer to this at all. I know they won't. If you're flaming and that's a you problem that you need to sort yourself out, like, up there. Like, it's important, dude. Like, don't underestimate, like, you have to remember, like, League is a video game and you shouldn't really be taking it seriously enough to flame or offend others. You can get annoyed. I get salty, but I'm never going to take it a step too far. When you take it a step too far, and I honestly mean this, and people get, like, they get offended when I say it, I wouldn't play League if I got like that, because I wouldn't want to be brought down to that level. Like, really take a big look inside and go, is it even worth it? Like, it's not. That's the answer, by the way. It's just not. And this is my job. In that 13 loss streak that I recently went on, I never flamed people. I was just really sad, but I never flamed. I never went crazy in chat. I never said anything to them because it doesn't matter enough. It's not going to do anything. In life, do things that will help you or help others. Flaming people is never going to work, ever. Like, full stop. It only makes you the bad guy, and it only puts you at a potential to get banned. But I will say, inside me, I don't really have it in me to be that angry about a video game, if I'm completely honest. So that's where I say, if you do have that anger, that you are flaming people over a video game, go talk to somebody. Again, I'm not even meaning that, by the way, as a negative thing. Something happened last year with my family that it really opened my eyes to mental health. Because I never really experienced it very much. And if I'm honest, before that happened, I didn't really believe in it. I don't know what to say, but before that, I'd never experienced it. So how could I know what mental health could do, here or there? But when a family member was dealing with something, it really opened my eyes of, like, you need to look after yourself up there, like, a lot. So yeah, don't underestimate going to go talk to somebody, deal with it, because maybe there's a bigger issue underlying why you're getting so angry. So yeah. Next up is, do I think there should be voice chat added to LoL after all this time? Hell no. Toggle mute individuals or leave the voice chat altogether as options. Do I think adding voice comms could increase the overall level of ranked games? No. So Riot have strictly said they'll never add voice chat to the game, which I 100% agree with. Now, I know there are people that are the opposite, that, like, think that it's 100% needed. I can get why people would want it, but we've had this conversation before. There are too many negatives opposed to the positives. So basically, the positive of it would be, if you do manage to get 5 individuals that all want to speak, that all communicate well, it'll be a great environment, right? It'll be a great environment. It will work. That's a very rare situation that's ever going to happen. Like, even if you want voice chat, let's be real. That is very rare that 5 individuals are going to work together on voice comms. Nothing bad happens. The audio quality is good. Someone doesn't have a screaming baby in the background. Like, if nothing negative happens, that's going to be very rare. So that's the positive. If it works well, cool. The negative towards it, there's a lot. So one we mentioned very briefly, audio quality. Not everybody has got a studio mic. A lot of people have got bad mics, or the noise pollution coming from mics. Again, Riot has a toxicity problem. They can't even deal with toxicity very well in typing, which is clear evidence of people being toxic. How are they going to deal with people saying things that may be toxic? They just wouldn't. The age areas of League. League is a vast age bracket, which is a bit of an issue when you're putting voice comms in. What I will say, people say, like, oh, Fortnite's got voice chat, or Overwatch has got voice chat. They got released, I believe, with it at the beginning of the game, so the community was built with voice chat. You knew when you were starting those games, voice chat's part of it. You can't add voice chat to a game and a community 10 years into the game. It'll be too much of a shock. Obviously, there are issues of... I've had many a conversation with females that are playing. They would dread voice chat because they're already treated a little bit different. Let's be real. So adding voice chat to that would only make that problem worse. Language barriers. If you're American, you may not have the biggest issue, but in Europe, we have a crazy amount of languages that there are some people that don't speak English. That would create a barrier. And then people will say, but yeah, just don't use voice chat. So this is the main issue that I actually believe is, like, forget all what I just said. They are small issues compared to the next one of, if you're an individual that just is never interested to talk to strangers, me, for example, I don't want to use voice chat ever. Literally not interested. I play solo queue to be a solo individual player. If I wanted to talk to players, I'd go play pre-made. I'd go play Clash when it's out. I'd play flex queue, and I do when they're available. But solo queue for me is to be a solo experience in a team game. If voice chat existed, I, who never would want to use it, am at a complete and utter disadvantage of something that wasn't in the game for 10 years. If you have people, if one team comp doesn't want to use it because they've never used it, they don't want to use it, then the enemy is using it. Well, the enemy's at a clear communication advantage, and it's not the opposition's fault for not wanting to use it. We started playing a game that didn't have voice chat. So that's the bigger issue for me, is that you're just hurting players who just don't want to use it. And again, if right when League came out 10 years ago, it had it, then you're deciding, oh, I'm going to invest all what I've got in this game. This is going to be my main game. And yes, it's got voice chat. And you're making that clear decision. Okay, fair enough. But you can't just throw it in 10 years in. It just would be too much of a shake-up to the community. So, yeah, Riot themselves, though, has said it's not going to happen. So, yeah. Next up is... did I have a part-time job in high school? If so, what did I do? Not really, no. I had a job in my gap year before university that I lasted 2 days, pretty much. I was in a pretty bad place in my gap year, but I will say doing that job also then made me start this YouTube channel. So I did a job, it wasn't a very good one, working in a store basically. And yeah, I lasted 2 days. It was just really depressing. I would say the colleagues didn't help. They were not very nice people at all. And literally 2 days, I just rang up one day. I was like, I ain't coming back in, screw that. And then I literally started my YouTube channel from that negative experience. So I got to thank that in a way. But yeah, I was just working in a store practically for a couple of days. So yeah, someone's saying any workout videos coming in the future? Probably not. I don't work out, and I've said it before, I don't work out for you guys, I work out for me. My health trip and everything has been a personal thing. It's a bonus if people, I've had many messages, I don't know, 50 maybe over the last couple months of I've now started the gym because of what you're doing. And maybe there's more people that have, but only, 50 odd people have sent me a message. I absolutely love that, by the way, but I haven't started the weight loss and fitness because of that. That's a bonus, but I'm not really interested in doing fitness videos because I'm never going to be as good as the fitness YouTubers. If you're interested in fitness on YouTube, I'm sure there's channels that are way better. I personally watch 2 fitness channels. I watch Half Thor, the World's Strongest Man, the Mountain from Game of Thrones. I watch his channel, and I watch Juji and Tom. I'd recommend both of those channels. They're both really good. So, yeah. Next up is, where do we go? Am I going to try and get Challenger this season? Nope. So this may be a weird thing. It may be a weird thing because I obviously talk about, oh, you should try and climb. I have no aspirations to ever be a Challenger player. And I know some people are like, oh, he's only saying that because he's never going to be one. I'm probably never going to be one, but I don't care. I actually don't even want Grandmaster. So the reason why is I'm more than content with being either Diamond 1 or obviously I want to be Master again this season. That's enough for me. It really is. The reason why is I'm not just a player of League, I'm a content creator. So a lot of my climbing is hurt by making content. I've spoken about it recently that I did the Warwick episode and I wanted to play Elise, but I played Warwick instead because I knew the previous video was Elise. So that would have been 2 Elise episodes in a row, which I don't like doing. So being a content creator really hurts. Obviously, I'm also doing live commentaries. I'm looking at the Twitch chat. So there is a limit of I'm distracted while I'm playing. Secondly, I don't want to play that much League to burn myself out. I've luckily never really burnt myself out of League too much. I find you get burnt out of something when you play too much. It happened to me with... it might have been Red Dead Redemption. When it came out, I played a stupid amount of that in a very short period. And then I was like, oh, I can't play this anymore. For like a month, I didn't want to play Red Dead, even though I was loving the game. If that happens with me in League, because I play too much of it over a short period of time, well, that sucks because it's my job. So I can't get burnt out, but then I'd be having to play and forcing myself to play while I'm burnt out. That's obviously not a healthy situation. So I very much pace myself with how many games I play. And, you know, I record, I'd say on average 4 times a week, maybe 5 times a week. And in those recording sessions, I play 4 to 5 games per recording session. So I don't know, I play what, 20 to 25 games a week. That's enough. But to be Grandmaster or Challenger, I'd at least have to play double the amount of games. At least. I'm not interested. I don't want to. That's the point. So yeah, I'm more than content. I can get Diamond 1 with the amount of games that I play. I can get Master with the amount of games that I play. Probably can't get Grandmaster, can't get Challenger. So I am more than happy with just being where I am in rating. Obviously, we're in Diamond 4 at the moment. We're nearing Diamond 3. And I'm fine with it. You know, I know that might surprise some people, but yeah. Right, next up is... Where do we want to go next? Why some champions scale better than others? So in League, there's a thing called ratios. So basically, say you buy an item that's got 50 attack damage on it. Some champions, their spells scale better with that 50 attack damage. For example, let's say, I'm making these numbers up, for example. Misfortune Q, let's say, has a 1 scaling on her Q spell. So that means for every 1 attack damage, it'll do 1 extra attack damage on her Q. So if you get 500 attack damage and she's got a 1 ratio, that means it'll be doing 500 extra damage because she's got a 1 ratio and you've got 500 AD. Another champion could have 0.3 ratio. So if you've got 500 attack damage but only a 0.3 ratio, obviously it'd be not doing 500 bonus damage, it would be doing 30% of 500. That's in essence what scaling is. So generally the way that it works is, let's say you're an early game champion, what they do is make the base spell damage, the actual damage the spell does by default, higher, but the scaling will be bad. If you're a late game champion, the spell damage by default will be low, but it'll have a higher scaling. So when you get more items and it's later in the game, the scaling will overtake the base damage of the spell for an early game champion. So that in essence is scaling. So, and that's with everything. That's ability power, that's health, that everything has that. There are champions that simply scale more than others. And that's the way that it's always been. But yeah, maybe, again, possibly there are new players that have no idea that's even a thing, but hopefully that may have helped. Do I think that League of Legends is dying? God, no. Again, the only people that say that generally, and I will just make a assumption here, people, one of two things. People either that don't like League, I think Dota is a clear example of that. Again, Dota people really don't like League for some reason, where I think a lot of people who play League don't really think about Dota that much, but oh well. Or people that had been permabanned or something like that from League, that they get toxic about League because they've had a negative experience with Riot. They're generally the people that think League is dying. No, League is actually growing. I can't talk too much, but yeah, it is growing by some things that I know. The viewership numbers are going up every year. If you actually look into the viewership numbers when it comes to esports, and again, that's not just League, but esports is like the sub thing of League. League is like in the top 5 of watch sports now in the world, and not esports. League of Legends, like the video game League, is in the top 5 of viewership things in the world. So yeah, like it's. I think some people don't realize how big League is, considering it has over 100 million players a month. That's insane. Again, the weird thing is Fortnite, which obviously a lot of people think is a bigger game. I don't know why. I think it might have just taken over the West a bit more. I think Fortnite at its peak had 35 million players. League has had over 100 million for years, but people just don't realize, I guess. But yeah, no, League is massive. So yeah, that's pretty much. Next up is is what is the easiest ELO to climb in? Low rating. The lower rating it is, the easier it is to climb. That's just in essence what it is. Like, let's be honest, take a sprinter, and if he's against slower people and he's quick, he's going to beat slower people. Now, some people may go, oh, but League's a team game. Sure, but as an individual, if you don't belong in low rating, you'll just get incredibly fed every game and just hyper carry. Like, you see it all the time. Again, a great example, if you watch the stream called Salty Timo, they just play Iron 4 games on repeat. Yeah, like, no one is getting stuck in Iron 4 unless they are an Iron 4 player, pretty much. I can basically guarantee that. So yeah, the lower rating you are, the easier it is to climb. And if you are having a hard time climbing, that's the rating that you're currently in. I think a lot of people don't understand that part of deserving a rank. Like, you could think, oh, I'm an Iron 1 player right now, but I've got gold friends and they say I could fit in gold. You may fit in, you may not feed in gold, but to be a gold player, guess what? You actually have to climb to gold. That's part of becoming that rating of a player. So many people don't understand that. It's like, yeah, just throw me in that rating and I'd fit in, but you didn't get the rating. That's part of deserving to be that type of player, is getting there, like everybody else. So I think some people don't understand that. And that's where a lot of people who get boosted, their mentality is just completely different than the normal person. Their mentality is, oh yeah, boost me to diamond and I can just never feed in diamond and I'll belong. But you're not a diamond player. You didn't get to diamond. That's part of being a diamond player, is you getting there. It's the journey that makes you the player of the rating that you're in. So yeah, the lower rating you're in, though, is the easier. Next up is, why did everyone stop playing Pantheon? For real, never see him. So, I don't mean to say I told you so to everybody, but I told you so. I was disappointed. Again, people think I hated his rework. I didn't hate his rework. I was disappointed by his rework because Riot kept him to be an early game champion. Early game champions in League of Legends and a 10-year-old game are less effective now than they ever have been because the player base has become smarter. In the early seasons, early game champions, everything, because people they weren't smart. The player base was new, so people used to all in an early game champion and get stomped when they were playing a late game champion. Well, now even people in like Iron or Bronze know the difference between early and late game champions, so they will just avoid fighting early game champs. So when Pantheon first came out and everyone's like, see, Huz, everybody's playing him and he's in every pro game, he's in Worlds. Let's be honest, if everybody, for a second, Riot has a problem with making champions that they either release or they rework overpowered by numbers, by actual sheer numbers of how much damage they do or how tanky they are. Riot does have a problem with making things overpowered. So when Pantheon was first reworked, his numbers were overtuned. Give it a couple weeks, give it a couple months, they bring his numbers down to being balanced, and then all you're left with is an early game champion that is now not effective in League of Legends. So that's what's happened to Pantheon. There you go. That's why I was disappointed by his rework, because he looked really cool, but I was disappointed that they kept him to early game scaling, because I knew, I'm not a future teller, but I knew he's eventually going to be left in a drawer, covered in dust, and no one's going to play him. And look what's happened. Until, by the way, probably someone at Riot goes, oh, look, let's have a look at the low pick rate champions. Oh, Pantheon's down there. Oh, let's make his numbers higher again, and boom, he'll be back. But it's not because, the champion is good in being early. It's just the numbers are low, and it's an early game champion, so they're going to suffer. But yeah. Next up is, okay, we can talk about that, and then we'll maybe answer one or two more, and that'll be the video for today. Is best Lego set that I built. So recently I got into building a bit of Lego, and I've already had some comments of people trying to be toxic, going, oh, Lego's for kids. Yep, so is video games to a lot of people, but you're watching me playing video games for a living, so again, the hypocrisy is kind of real in some cases. But Lego for me has been a thing that I've wanted to do. Well, not wanted to do Lego specifically, but I've wanted to do stuff more off the computer. I wanted to be offline doing something and to chill a bit, because the last question we're about to answer is to do with like what are the positives and negatives of being a YouTuber. One of them is stress, and because you're in the public eye all the time. People are watching you, and if you just say one wrong thing, they go at you. So it's good to be offline occasionally. And I was really thinking about, what do I do? And I might be doing go-karting soon. again, I will say one of the reasons I actually did want to lose the weight is the go-karting league that I want to join. It's a weighted go-kart league to 85 kilograms. So if you're under 85 kilograms, you have to put weights on the cart that everybody is 85 kilogram. If you're over 85 kilogram, though, that you're just at a disadvantage. And obviously, when I was starting the weight loss, I was, I think, even close to like, I don't know, 92 or 93 kilograms. I'm now 79 kilograms, so I'm 6 kilogram under 85. So I actually, when I go karting, I'll actually have to put weight on the cart. I wasn't expecting that, but I basically, my goal was to get down to 85, and obviously I've gone below that too. So yeah, that's gone pretty well. But I was thinking in the meantime, you know, what could I do offline? What's chill? And I randomly thought about Lego. Like, I loved Lego as a kid, and I know Lego has kind of branched into two different things. That yes, they still make the majority of Lego for kids, but I do know there is a massive hobby of adults in Lego because they have crazy advanced sets, like Technic stuff. That like I bought one, but I never built it. I bought the Porsche. There's like a working motor and gearbox in that's made out of Lego and Technic. A kid ain't doing that. So I don't know where I put the Porsche. So I put that in storage, I think. So I was like, right, I'm going to buy something new. So I tweeted out what's something that people would recommend, and people recommended the Star Wars stuff. So I looked at it, and it's up there. I'm not going to get it right now, but I built the X-Wing, Luke Skywalker's X-Wing. I'm going to be honest, I loved it. Like, it was so chill. And I said to myself, I opened it, and how Lego works now is that it splits the build into bags. So you've got bag 1, bag 2, and it was this one to the X-Wing was to bag 6. And the instructions are per bag. So, like, you could just go, right, I'm going to do bag 1 tonight, bag 2 tomorrow, and you could split it up. In my mind, I was like, right, I'll do 2 bags tonight, I'll do 2 bags tomorrow. In 3 days, I'll get it complete. Yeah, I built the whole thing in one go. It took a couple hours. I didn't make any mistakes, which was good, but yeah, it took me a couple hours, and I loved it. It was so chill. It was rewarding when you're seeing things come together. It was great. And then I was with my friends on Sunday. We went to go get food. We were just walking around. We went to a store called Forbidden Planet here in the UK. It's kind of like a nerd store, I guess. It's got comic books, manga. It's got models, like whatever. And I picked this up, so I will show this one. It's not done yet, so I've got a bit more to do on it. But here is a walker from the Mandalorian series. So everything's done, I believe, from the legs. The base is is nearly complete. All I've got to do is build like the outer shell to make it actually look finished. And that's one more bag. And obviously it twists and everything. And I was doing this last night, and I was enjoying it a lot. And that looks really cool. Again, I don't know where I'm going to keep this stuff. Right now, the X-Wing's up there. This will probably find its way up there. And, you know, I might not continue this hobby. I doubt I will, if I'm honest. But just for right now, I'm liking it. And, you know, there's no harm in it. It's fun. It is expensive, I guess, for what it is. But it's good. I like it. It's fun. But yeah, and then the final question that we're going to get into is one that a lot of YouTubers would tend to avoid, but it is, what are the positives and negatives of being a YouTuber or streamer? Because I've had, by the way, a lot of these questions. This is going to be kind of amalgamated into one. I did have this actual question to answer, but there were a lot of people asking, how do I get into streaming? How do I get into YouTube? I do stream, but nobody watches. How do I turn it into a job? A lot of these, obviously, questions are very popular. So the simple thing of, like, how do you make it your job is there's no guarantees. Like, there wasn't for me. I just did it for fun. If you're not doing it for fun, don't do it. Like, that's the number one. When I started, and I can guarantee, nearly almost guarantee, that every popular streamer, YouTuber, whoever, of all sizes who managed to do it for their job, nobody was thinking that it was going to become their job. Ever. Like, when they first began, it was for completely pure intentions of either just fun, they liked making videos, they liked making content, or my example, I liked that stuff, obviously, but mine was just, I needed something to do. I was in the gap year of between college and university here in the UK. I did that job that made me sad after 2 days, so I quit it, and I was like, well, now I'm not doing anything. What do? I got inspired by two people, Total Biscuit and Jesse Cox, both of which were in pretty iffy places in life, and what they did to find something to do, something for fun, they started making content originally on WoW Radio, and then that eventually turned into YouTube. So I was inspired by that. I was like, these are two guys that I've watched for years, and they turned a bad situation into a good one. And I never thought it would be a job, but I was like, right, I'm going to just start making content. What can I do? And that's what happened. And it became something that I never expected. So that's the first thing, is if you're making content and you're expecting it to be a job, don't do that. I know it's a harsh thing maybe to say, but it's likely not going to be, because of how competitive everything is. Like, if you do, well, I would say if you want to increase your chances the best, don't do league content. It's way too, like, there's too many people doing league content now. Like, everybody is kind of settled into content creators that they watch because it's a 10-year-old game and people have been around forever. So why would somebody watch a brand new content creator over somebody that they have a connection with for years? So my advice would be, don't do league content if you are wanting to try and become successful at something. The best thing to do, if you're just dead serious on being a content creator, you don't care about what game you're playing, pick a new game that you think is going to be a hit. Like, that's the number one. Like, yeah, like, whenever you see crazy view numbers on Twitch or something, it's when a new game is released. It's like a big hype train. And if you start right at the beginning of a new game, everybody's at the same level, and you kind of take off from there, that's likely your best chance. Whether you start content on platform-wise, Twitch, YouTube, honestly, like, even Mixer might be the best place for brand new people to start, because Twitch, again, is oversaturated. YouTube is incredibly oversaturated. So I like the thing that I was saying, I'll pick a new game. In essence, also pick a new platform could also be the best thing for you. You also have to imagine a new platform like Mixer, or newish platform, would be much more appreciative for new content creators coming out, that they'll have a lower standard, a lower bar for certain things. Probably a lower bar for partnership, so you can start monetizing things. Probably a lower bar to get a partner manager. Well, obviously Twitch, it's harder to become a partner. YouTube, they've made it harder over the years because there's just too many now. So that's my advice if you are wanting to do it. But as for the actual question that someone said, what are the positive things, what are the negative things? Positive thing, I love what I do. Like, just straight up, I love it. I wake up every day and sometimes I still can't believe this is what I get to do. I do love what I do. I love the vast majority of the time that I'm making content. It's great. But the negatives. So the negatives are weirdly, a lot of them aren't to do with the actual job. It's to do with the mental side of the job, which I think a lot of people should be able to relate with. Because if I complain about anything, and this is one of the negatives, if I complain about anything to do with content and streaming, the instant thing, oh, you just play video games for a living. That's the instant response. So I can never say a negative thing because there'll be a bunch of people saying you just play video games for a living. So that's a bit hard sometimes, because, like, no matter what job you have, you could have the best job in the world, you're going to have bad days. Like, but as a YouTuber, you feel like you can't say anything because you're going to have people down your throat going, you just play video games, blah, blah. I will say majority of my time isn't playing video games. I stream for 4 or 5 hours whenever I stream, then put that, I've got to make all the videos, I've got to do all the thumbnails, I've got to upload it, I've got to tag it, I've got to add it, I've got to all the background stuff, so sponsorship stuff, meeting stuff, Riot stuff, emails, comment sections, all that counts. All of that counts. So that's one thing. It's more work than people realize, and it's not just recording. Obviously, I make it harder for myself because I don't have an editor, so that would be something that would definitely lighten my load, and it is something that I'm considering down the line if I did want to lighten the load. Right now, I'm not going to, but it could happen in the future, when I move out, and if I want to do more things in real life, then maybe an editor will be a thing that we may get, but right now, no. Other negative, well, everything is online. So I think the best way to explain it, and the best way that people will relate to it, is you watching this video right now. We've all had those days that you're in bed in the morning, and no matter what job you do, you could love your job, but there are occasional days that you're just like, I don't want to go to work today. Doesn't matter what it is. You could have an amazing job, you love your office, your secretary is great, whatever job you've got, you're going to have those days. And then add on, and by the way, I'm not saying my job is harder than anybody's, but add on the fact that, okay, I'm not feeling like I want to work today, but I've got to do it. Then add on that you then have thousands of people watching you. So yeah, imagine you right now, you're going to your office job, you're not really feeling it, whatever you've got to do, it may not be hard work, whatever, but then you have thousands of people watching you on a day that you're not really feeling it. That's difficult sometimes. And, you know, sometimes you're like, oh, okay, I've got enough content, right, I'm not going to stream today, we'll have a day off. That's good, obviously, but there have been times that I've got no content. I have to stream today, so then I'm trying to make good content when I'm just not feeling it, you know? It could be for anything. I could have heard some bad news. There could be something going on in my background that I don't want to make public. It could be anything, but I'm in front of thousands of people, obviously like 500 people live on Twitch, but then if I have to make a video, I've got no video content, I have to make a video, then that video is going to be watched by thousands of people, and I might not be in a good mood. I might say something that I normally wouldn't say because I'm in a bad mood. But then suddenly you have hundreds of people that are like, Huz said that thing. Oh my God, he's toxic, whatever. And it's just because I'm just not in a great mood. Where if you were in an office environment and you're just having a bad day, maybe you could just put your head down, headphones in, and get on with your work and no one will bother you. So that's a negative. Again, I'm not complaining about the job. I love the job, but I think that's something that people don't think about. You have to remember that content creators are human. And even on our off days, the difference with our off days is an off day for somebody, they might just be a bit quiet, they might just try to get on with their work and go home. Our off day is still in front of thousands of people. So, yeah. Obviously, then you also have the aspect of you're on the internet and you've got crazy people, toxic people, whatever they may be, people that get obsessed with you. That exists as well. But that's something that, I don't know, that used to bother me, but that doesn't really bother me too much anymore. I've watched a few videos on it. It's basically them type of people, weirdly, like the people, you know, you shouldn't really bring attention to them, I guess, but the people that like, they know your upload schedule perfectly and they're the first person to click it and they dislike the video instantly, those people are your biggest fans, like ever, like completely your biggest fans, because they're watching everything you do, they're obsessive about it, and everything that they're doing is actually helping you. A dislike is still like that's the way that the video that I watched, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, when it was affecting me, I watched a video and a guy was positive spinning it. He was like, that dislike in YouTube's eyes and how content works, that doesn't matter, because all a dislike is in a YouTube sense is an interaction, and all YouTube cares about is interaction. A like, a dislike, and a comment all mean the same thing. It could be a positive comment, negative comment, like, dislike, doesn't matter to YouTube, doesn't matter to your channel. It helps. So see it as a positive, that if you've got people that will instantly click on your video just to dislike it, they're helping you. And I was like, that's actually a really positive way to think about it, because then people, you can't do anything about them if they're like at home 24/7 on their computer ready to go to dislike. You can't do anything about them, you can't stop them, but it doesn't matter. No matter what content you make. And again, that I guess we can go back to, if you want to be a content creator, make sure you're thick-skinned, because you're going to have it. Trust me, you're on the internet. It's an anonymous situation. You're going to have it. The good thing is, when I've been in any events and that, I've only ever had completely positive experiences with people, because in real life, people are, let's say, relatively normal. Like, that's just the way that it is. People who are a bit out there and dislike instantly, they're not the ones going to events to meet people, if we're being honest. So, yeah. But that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This video went a bit longer than I actually expected, but I like talking, obviously. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed, and maybe you know, especially with the last question, get a bit more of what it's like to be a YouTuber in some situations. But now I get to enjoy a little bit of a day off. Again, today is my day off, and I'm still recording a 50-minute video. I still got to edit this video, still got to make a thumbnail for this video, and today's my day off. So that's just sometimes the way that it goes. I would also say another negative, not that I'm piling them on, when it comes to content, and again, it's my problem, because I am like religiously uploading 2 videos a day. That's just who I am. Like, if I can upload 2 a day, people want 2 a day, I will upload 2 a day. I don't miss content ever. There have been situations that my friends have wanted to do something really impromptu, like, hey guys, let's meet up tomorrow and do something, and I'm like, I can't. Or, you know, I don't have content, so I can't meet you guys tomorrow. So that's happened too. But obviously that's more of a me problem, because, you know, a normal content creator will be like, right guys, there's just no upload today, I'm out with my friends. I can't, I don't know why, mentally I just can't do that. So that's a negative, I guess, too. But that's going to be it. If you guys did enjoy, throw a like on it. Remember, enter for the Silas code by liking, commenting, subscribing and all that. And yeah, hopefully you're having a good time. Let me know how season 10 is going for you, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.